Good afternoon, mighty Vikings. My name is Melinda Anderson, and I am excited to talk to you today a little bit about Viking success. I am the Interim Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Success and Academic Affairs, and I'll be talking to you today about what it means to be successful here at Elizabeth City State University. So we're going to start off a little bit today talking about curriculum. So the curriculum is essentially a list of all the courses that you must complete to earn your degree. I know that many of you understand what it means to get into college because you are here. And so when you are thinking about what it means to graduate, essentially what we're talking about and what are the courses that you need to fulfill particular degree requirements in order for you to graduate. So when you think about what that means, when you think about if you, for example, were to leave school and to come back, we always want students to know that you have a particular requirement to fulfill based on your catalog requirements. So for example, if you were to leave and to come back to school, we always let students know that you may have to reapply under a different catalog year. But we always want students to know that you do have 7 years to complete your baccalaureate degree. And in that time frame, you may or may not have new degree requirements to complete in that time frame. But at the end of the day, we always want students to know that you have your major requirements and then you have your general education requirements. And so you'll see here that your general education requirements are between 30 to 35, 35 to 36 credit hours. And so when you work with your academic advisor, they'll be very good about helping you understand what are your requirements for your general education, and then what are the requirements that you need for your major. In terms of your graduate point average, or GPA, as you guys know that to be, it's really important that you understand how your GPA is calculated. As you can see here, an A is the equivalent of 4, B is 3, C is 2, D is 1, F, of course, is 0. And so when you think about how you calculate your GPA, you have quality points, and then you think about how many credits is the weight of your class. And when you're computing those areas together, so for example, if I take a 3-credit class and I get an A in that course, that would be 12 quality points, right? And so when you think about how important it is to calculate your GPA, you have to think about all those pieces together. So for example, I take a 1-credit course and I get an A, that's only 4 quality points. And so sometimes students will say to me, well, what do I need to earn in this course in order to get this particular GPA? I always tell students, well, you have to look at how many credits you've already accumulated based on what you've taken this semester, based on what you're going to earn in terms of a grade in those courses. And so I think it's always important for students to know how to calculate your GPA, because it becomes really important in the future when you start thinking about what you've currently earned and what you need to earn in order to make sure that you continue to remain in good standing. Or for example, you're calculating the difference between cum laude or magna cum laude or summa cum laude when you think about Latin honors. And so I always encourage students to learn how to calculate their GPA. And so here's another example of how your GPA gets configured with this example in front of you. Again, in order to graduate, you have to have at least a 2.0 overall GPA. That's what we say when you're in good standing. It's also the GPA that you need in order to graduate. You'll see here that you also need to have at least a C in your freshman composition classes. And so depending on your major, there are going to be standards in terms of a particular grade that you have to earn in particular courses, depending on that major that you're pursuing. So I always tell students to talk to your academic advisor to make sure that you understand what major and which courses are required to have particular GPA requirements. So in terms of other issues around academic standing, your academic standing during any term is determined by the cumulative GPA, which is why we always want students to know how it's calculated. And so again, to be in good standing for all incoming freshmen, you need to have a 2.0 cumulative, and individuals with less than a 2.0 cumulative are placed on a warning, probation, or suspension. And so to talk to you a little bit more details about our sanctions policy, students must have at least a 2.0 GPA and earn at least 67% of cumulative credit that they have attempted. So what that means is that you need to have at least a 2.0, and based on the courses that you've taken, you need to have at least earned 67% of those classes taken. And so I think sometimes students will say, well, I have a 2.0 GPA, but then you also have to look at how many credits you've taken and then what you've attempted. So for example, you've taken 18 credits, but maybe you didn't complete all 18 credits. Maybe you withdrew from some, or maybe you failed a class, but maybe you do have a cumulative 2.0 GPA because you did well in a previous semester. So it's important for students to understand that your GPA is critical, not just for the sake of having a good GPA, but when you have a good GPA, number one, scholarship opportunities. Number two, internship opportunities. Number three, when you start thinking about financial aid and SAP appeals, you don't even have to worry about being in difficult situations like that, because you know that you're not even close to the borderline of having difficulties around your GPA. In terms of academic warning, warning is a situation where, okay, let's say, for example, you come in your first semester and I don't have the 2.0 GPA, I'm below a 2.0 GPA, we would say that that student is on warning for at least that first semester. The second semester attempt, if a student is not above a 2.0 GPA, we would say that that student is now on probation. So for example, we understand that maybe there's a difficult time period, maybe student is struggling either with their health, or maybe there's just something else going on in that student's life at the time. We recognize that it may take more than just one semester for that student to pull themselves out of academic difficulties. And so you are on warning in that first semester and then on probation the second semester. So if you do not pull yourself into good standing on that second semester, that third semester, you are actually then suspended. So we do give students 3 chances in order to make sure that they remain in good academic standing. And so we recognize with these 3 attempts that the third one, if you continue to not do well, we do not want you to continue to spend money, to spend time. Sometimes it's in the good interest of that student to step away from school and to figure out, what do I need to do better in order to come back to school and to be strong, to be supported. Maybe it's a financial issue, maybe you're working too much, maybe there's some things going on at home. And so it might make sense for a student to step away from school for at least 2 semesters and then to come back. We always want students to be successful, but when we see students who are repeatedly not doing well semester after semester, it does make sense for students to step away from their work at school. And so students can find themselves in academic suspension. So students who are suspended will be suspended for 2 consecutive semesters, not including a summer session. And then after those 2 semesters, they are allowed to appeal and to return back to the university. So our SAP requirements, again, in order to receive federal financial aid, students must have a cumulative GPA of 2.0. If you're a graduate student, you must have a 3.0. And minimum credit hours for completion rates, also known as PACE, students must have earned a minimum of 67% of the credit hours that they attempted. So that's why it's just really important for students just to kind of get in their head, if I'm above a 2.0 and I've earned at least 67% of the credit hours that I've attempted, then I will not be in any issues with SAP. We do have a repeat course policy because we recognize that maybe, sometimes I take a class and I might just need to take it again. You can improve your GPA with taking grades of D or F. You can repeat those. And sometimes they can help to increase your GPA quickly when you think about it might be faster to repeat a course than to take a new course when you think about how easy it is to lift your GPA in that regard. But there might be some situations where you have to repeat a course. For example, the English composition courses, you are required to earn a C. So if you earn a D, you have to repeat the course in order to graduate. And so that's why we have a repeat course policy, because sometimes in some particular situations, you have to repeat the course. Now, there are limits to repeating a course. You cannot just keep taking courses over and over and over and over again. And so no more than 15 hours. So basically you cannot repeat a course no more than 5 times. So the transient study policy that we have, if you wish to take a course at another community college or another institution and then bring that course here to fulfill a particular course requirement, students are required to take to complete a permit for transient study course form. Which will allow you to have permission to take that course elsewhere and then transfer that credit back. It is critical that students do this step before they take the course elsewhere. Because, for example, if you were to take a course and then pay for it and then try to transfer it back, we may not be able to award you credit for it. And in that situation, you would have paid money for a class and then you can't bring the credits back here at Elizabeth City State University. So we always encourage students to fill out this form, let us approve the fact that you can take this course and bring it back to us, and then you can make sure that you feel comfortable with the fact that this course can come back to Elizabeth City State University. Change of grade policy. Sometimes there are circumstances where students might be able to have a grade change in a class once a grade is assigned. Typically, we might see a situation where a student has an incomplete grade, and then once they complete the work for the course, the instructor will assign a grade. But there might be a situation where this instructor might give you a C in the course, and then based on circumstances, you might get an opportunity to get that course grade changed either through a miscalculation, or maybe you were able to talk to the professor and additional work was submitted and they are willing to change the grade of the course. It's rare, but it does happen. And so there is a form and a policy in place for a change of grade. Sometimes there is a situation where a student may issue or pursue a grade appeal. And for example, maybe you feel that you've been awarded a grade that is unfair based on the circumstances of the course or the circumstances with the instructor. And students can pursue a grade appeal after they've talked to the instructor and they're not satisfied. Then they can talk to the chair of that department where that instructor is. And if that is not a satisfactory result of that situation, they can go to the dean of that school. And if that is not satisfied or resolved at that point, then they can pursue a grade appeal with the committee. And if their case is heard and approved, then and the committee agrees with the student, then a grade change can occur, and then forms would be signed, of course, and so then the grade could possibly change. So this is a process that is managed under me, and so I do see students take this avenue when they feel very strongly that their case needs to be heard. So I do encourage students to always be in conversation with their instructors, and if they do feel as if there is a situation that they need to be taken up to either a chair or the dean level, I do encourage students to advocate on their own behalf, especially when they feel like they have done good work in the course and they feel as if their situation needs to be heard above their instructor. Incomplete grades, there are situations that I see where students maybe get sick or something happens with a family member and they're not able to complete the work assigned during the particular time frame of the course, and so they are issued an incomplete grade for the class. I always tell students that getting an incomplete grade is helpful in the moment, but remember that you still have work to do. If your incomplete grade is not finished by the end of the semester, it will become an F based on the time frame that the instructor has provided you. An incomplete grade is really just a pause in the course. It does not mean that that class goes away. It does not mean that that incomplete can live forever. You cannot graduate with an incomplete on your record. And so I always tell students that you want to make sure that you complete that incomplete course as soon as possible. And think of that class as 3 credits or whatever credit value that course has that's going to follow you into the next semester. So I always encourage students to complete incomplete courses as soon as possible. Once that incomplete material has been submitted to your faculty member, you will be able to then receive a grade for that course. And then the instructor will submit a grade change form, and then that incomplete will be changed to the grade assigned. I always tell students you really, really want to make sure that you take care of that as soon as possible. And then again, if you do not submit the work that you need for that class, that incomplete will turn into an F. In terms of academic honors, I always encourage students to be thinking about, especially when you're coming from high school into college, you want to think about how you see yourself in terms of when you're graduating from the stage in 4 years. Or for example, my transfer students, how you see yourself graduating in 2 years. So honor roll, of course, when you think about a full-time student, if you're earning at least a 3.0, you can be on the academic vice chancellor's list for honor roll students, 3.5 to 374 with no grades less than a C. The chancellor's list at 375 but no grade less than a B. When I think about students who are graduating with distinctions, honors, those who have a GPA of at least a 3.0 with no transfer credits. So even if students are transferring with associate's degrees and they say, can I still get Latin honors? I tell students, yes. If you've transferred all your courses into the institution with no less than a 3.0 or no less than a B, honors is still an opportunity for you. You can see cum laude 325 to a 359, magna cum laude 360, 379, summa cum laude 38 to a 40. And I always tell students, you just don't want to be thank you loud. You really don't want to be that student who just says thank you loud. I'm just so glad that I done crossed the stage loud and come in at that 2.0. You do want to strive hard and shoot for the cum and the magna and the summa, because I know you can do it. I know that you're here at Elizabeth City State University because we know that you're capable of reaching for the sky. And so I want to make sure that I encourage you all to know that you can have any one of these honor slots if you want it. In addition, when I think about students who are willing to shoot for the stars, we do have an honors program. If you are in and complete all the honors designations and can continue to move on in that program, you do receive special recognition on your transcript and during the graduation ceremony if you're participating in the honors program. So if you're not currently in honors, I encourage you to think about joining the honors program. Dr. Andre Stevenson is amazing as an honors director, and I encourage all students who are wanting to take advantage of their education and to want more from their education and want more from Elizabeth City State University to take advantage of our honors program. The idea of traveling, and I know right now maybe traveling may not be something in the immediate future, but the idea of scholarships, faculty mentorship and research opportunities, and then of course traveling to conferences was something that's a part of the honors experience. And so I encourage students to take advantage of that if they'd like. In terms of academic departments, many academic procedures begin in one's major. So a change of major form, for example, will begin in your departmental office. So when you think about where you are right now, many of you may know what you want to major in. Many of you are still deciding. So for example, when you think about moving into your academic department, many of you are going to be finding yourself in a new academic home. And so you will be making connections with the departmental administrative assistant and the academic chair of that department. And so that will be the person that will be helping to support you with many of your academic policies and procedures and processes that you may have as you continue your journey here at Elizabeth City State University. In terms of pre-registration, we really want to encourage students, when you think about pre-registration, it will be starting for you in a matter of weeks. I always tell our freshmen, it's amazing how fast the semester runs. Like right now, we're in the middle of September. And in a blink of an eye, you know, we will be doing pre-registration, and then it will be Thanksgiving, and then the semester will be over. So pre-registration, there is an advising hold that will be placed on your account. And the reason why we do that is because students are required to meet with an academic advisor every semester in order to make sure that they're registering for the correct courses, in order to make sure that you are taking the appropriate courses in order to register to graduate on time. And we know that time is money, and so it's important for our students to know that we understand the financial responsibilities of what it means to be in school. And so we want to make sure that you're taking the appropriate courses and doing what it is that you need in order to graduate with a degree that matters, with a degree that is going to help you pursue and to be the best Viking that you can be in the world. And so we want to make sure that you're taking everything that you're needing to take in order to move on to that next level. And so what you'll find is that your academic advisor in university studies will be reaching out to you to set up an academic advising appointment. And when you get that email, please register for an advising appointment immediately. Their time is going to fill up pretty quickly, and we want to make sure that you get your appointment as soon as possible so that you can register for your classes that you need for the spring semester. So make sure that you sign up as soon as possible. In terms of preparing for your advising appointment, we want to make sure that you think through what you're going to want to take next semester. You're going to be thinking about at least taking between 15 to 16 credits for next semester, and your academic plan. When you think about pre-registration, you know what you're taking now, what you're going to be taking next semester based on your major. If you're thinking about maybe changing your major plans, you're going to want to share that information with your academic advisor. When you think about what courses you're going to take, are there prerequisites that you need to take? What other general education requirements you're going to need to take? If you're interested in a particular major or minor that you're going to need to take. So those are all the things that you're going to want to think about as you're coming into your academic advising appointment. When you think about the curriculum guide that you'll have available to you based on your major requirement, we have curriculum balance sheets and degree plans of study that will basically show you a 4-year snapshot in terms of what you would need to take when. And so it's really, really good resources to help support you in terms of thinking about what courses you need to be taking. And your academic advisor will certainly be there side by side, but I always want students to know that we are there to teach you how to fish. We're not going to just keep giving you fish and then one day we disappear and then you don't know how to eat. We are here to help you understand your educational plan. We're here to make sure that you understand why you're taking what you're taking, understanding what's required in your degree, and understand why you're taking the courses that are necessary for your program and what you'll be learning from them, and then understanding what your degree is going to allow you to be able to do once you graduate. That's why we're here. Academic advisors and university studies believe in your ability to be successful. But we're there to support you, but we're not going to hold your hand. So it's really important for you to understand that our goal is to support and make sure that you understand why you're doing what you're doing. And so it's really important for you to come to your academic advising session prepared and knowledgeable about what your next steps are and what you need to do to be successful in the spring semester and the semesters ahead. So with that being said, again, my name is Melinda Anderson, and I'm the Interim Associate Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Success. And I'm located in the Thorpe building here on campus. There's a bit of a typo there in Student Success. I apologize for that. But you can actually call me at this phone number, 3187, and my email address is there below. And so I will tell students all the time, I'm serious about your success. I'm committed to your success. And so if you are experiencing any um, challenges or difficulties or concerns on this campus, I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn about your experiences and to take that information forward. I report to the provost, who reports to the chancellor. And so my goal is to make sure that we are here to support you and to make sure that this is the best experience for you. The title of this presentation is Viking Success, okay? Because the reason why we're here is to make sure that our students are successful. And being successful is not going to always be easy. It is not always going to feel comfortable, but I can guarantee you that it will be worth it. And so that is my promise to you. Again, another visual. This is the Thorpe building. It's located on the first part of the campus. I'm on the second floor. I'm sorry, on the third floor. Hold on, let's go back. I don't mean to do that. I'm on the third floor, the cashier's office and student accounts. The registrar's on the first floor. So I'm on the third floor of that building if you've ever been in that space. So I always tell students, we've got a lot of stuff going on, but virtually students can always reach me on the phone or via email, or you can email Viking Student Success. That's a mailbox that I administer as well. And so I want to encourage you. I know we have a lot going on in the world, and I just want you to know that we're here for you, and we believe in your ability to be successful. I know that maybe this isn't the first semester that you thought college would be for you, but I want you to know that I completely understand that, and we're here for you. And you let me know anything that we need to do for you. Let your university studies advisors know, and they can let me know as well. And I just want to thank you for allowing me to have some time with you today to share this presentation about success, and make sure that you continue to work hard and be strong like Vikings are. Viking pride, Viking pride, Viking pride.